Hi, I'm Kevin Gibbon. Welcome to another broadcast of Comics Let's Talk. I review comic books and have columns on two sites, the Comics for Sinners website and the Comics Crusaders website. Check them out. Check out my reviews and check out my columns. If you like what you read, let me know in the comments section below. If you don't like it, let me know too. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. My comic book reviews for Comic Crusaders and Comics for Sinners. I also have my own franchise now. It's Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. The first novel was Last Rites, The Return of Sebastian Vasilis. It has been adapted into comic book format and can be found on Indie Planet along with all the other Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter comic books. It's also being made into a movie out of Lakeland, Florida through Crisp Filmworks. Check out the Facebook page, Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. Also, Last Rites, The Return of Sebastian Vasilis. If you like what you see and want to stay up to date, just click like on both pages. There are many other comic books available on Indie Planet and Drive-Thru Comic Books of the Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter franchise. The latest comic book is Dracula Rising. We're on issue 2. Issue 1 was drawn by Dennis Magnant, who since had to move on to other projects. So my new artist is Rodolfo Ezequiel. Going to show you some panels from his artwork right now. Rodolfo is an excellent artist, and these are panels that he has drawn for the Dracula Rising #2 issue. There's also an animated trailer out. Let's take a look at a little bit of the animated trailer.
Who are you?
Your worst nightmare.
I think you dropped these.
Thanks.
You're not very good at this, are you?
I'm Carl Vincent.
Another vampire hunter wannabe. Do you know how many of you that I've killed? You can't leave yet. The party's just begun.
I hope to use this trailer to sell the project to maybe Adult Swim or Cartoon Network or something like that. This week, we're going to look at the manga artists that passed away in 2017. We already did a show on comic book creators who passed away, and as I was researching that show, I came across a lot who did manga that was translated into comics or was adapted from comic books. And I wanted to discuss that on that show too, but it was kind of long, and I thought the show would be too long if we included all of those. So I'm doing a separate broadcast today, which won't be as long. This is my look at manga artists who passed away in 2017. The first artist I'd like to discuss who passed on July 24th is Miso Soshi. And we're going to take a look at Leslie's Anime and Manga Corner. Soshi was under medical care for an unspecified illness. He was 57 years old at the time of his passing. Miso was a key animator who specialized in mechanical and effects animation. He started out as an animator in Studio Giants, working on such anime as Sengoku Meijin Go Shogun. And again, I may not be pronouncing all of these names right, so my apologies beforehand, before you hear me mispronounce a name or title. He was the assistant animation director for the 1984 anime film, The Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Do you remember love? There he met future Gainax co-founder Hideaki Anno. After working as key animator and mecha animation director on Project AKO in 1986, he moved to Gainax. While at Gainax, Miso worked as assistant director for Royal Space Force and as key animator, technical director, and mechanical designer for such anime as Gunbuster, Otaku no Video Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, His and Her Circumstances, and Gunbuster 2 Diebuster. He also worked on anime outside of Gainax, such as Akira and Giant Robo. Miso is credited for mecha design for the irresistible Captain Tyler, and was the animation supervisor and mechanical director for the Six Angels film. Miso has also directed such anime as Crimson Wolf, Countdown, Submarine 707R, and Demon Bane. When Anno left Gainax and founded Studio Kara to work on his new Evangelion anime films, Miso followed as a key animator as well as a special effects and action director up until the third and most recent film. Among his last credits were the storyboards, Hakioki, Demon of the Fleeting Blossom, Wild Dance of Kyoto film, and key animation for the Arpeggio of Blue Steel television anime. The next creator, who passed away on March 22nd, was Daisuke Sato. And we'll look at Wikipedia, Japanese board game designer, novelist, and manga writer. He was known for his alternate history novels, Seito, Divided Japan like Korea, and Red Sun Black Cross, Japan Fights Against Germany, among others. He wrote the story for his manga Imperial Guards, and High School of the Dead Imperial Guards was nominated for the Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize in 2007. And for the first Manga Taisho in 2008, he passed away on March 22nd from heart disease. At number 3, we come to Kazunori Mizuno. The anime industry has lost one of its vibrant artists this year. Reports have come to light which share sad news about an animator known for his work on shows like Naruto and Bleach. Kazunori Mizuno passed away. He was 52 years old. If you don't know Mizuno, you may recognize his work. The artist had a long history with Bleach and even created the anime's 10th opening.
Don't you understand? How do I go after her? How am I supposed to save her? I can't do it! It can't be done.
He also worked on popular names like Akira, Naruto Shippuden, Yu Yu Hakusho, and more. At number 4, we come to Jiro Taniguchi. He began his career as an assistant of manga artist Kyoto Ishikawa. He made his manga debut in 1970, Karete Heya, The Dissected Summer, which was published in the magazine Young Comic. From 1978 to 1986, he created several hard-boiled comics with the scenarist Natsuo Sekigawa, such as City Without Defense, The Wind of the West is White, and Lindo 3. From 1987 to 1996, Taniguchi and Sekigawa produced the 5-volume series Bochen no Jidea. From 1980 to 1983, he collaborated with Garen Tsuchiya for the manga Blue Fighter Knuckle and Live Odyssey. He illustrated Baku Yamamakura's works, Garoden from 1989 to 1990, and The Summit of the Gods from 2000 to 2003. The latter received awards at the Angoulême International Comics Festival in 2002 and 2005. In 1997, he created the Icarus series with texts by Mavis. Taniguchi gained several prizes for his work, among others the Osamu Tezuka Culture Award in 1998 for the series Bochen no Jidei, the Shogakukan Prize, and in 2003 the Alpha Art of the Best Scenario at the Angoulême International Comics Festival in France. That was for A Distant Neighborhood. His work has been translated in many languages. Mexican filmmaker Guillermo del Toro praised his work, stating that Taniguchi was a manga poet, the Kozlowski of the page, a serene, profound observer of the world. Taniguchi died on February 11th at the age of 69. On January 1st, we lost Alfonso Wong. He was born in Tientsin, Republic of China. He studied Western art and finished school by 1944. In 1956, he moved south to British Hong Kong. He was responsible for drawings in Bibles for a French Catholic missionary in the colony and also became the art editor for Hong Kong Catholic magazine Lok Fong Pao. Wong became well known in 1961 when he created the manhwa Old Master Q.
My name is Joseph Wong, Wang Ze. Today, here we are hosting my father's comic drawings. Although he's my father, I didn't realize that he was a great comic artist until much later. I said, I have a great father.
The comic was one of the most influential pieces of work in Hong Kong under British rule before it was transferred back to China and was popular across Asia. It voiced the opinions of the citizens in an exaggerated comical sense at a time when comics avoided controversial political issues. From integration with mainlanders to the education gap, there were few limitations being broached by the sensitive subjects which accompanied his stories. The comic became known for maintaining popularity for over 40 years against endless competition with other Hong Kong manhwa and Japanese manga. Later adaptations into movies, Chinese animation, and other works of fiction continued well after his retirement. He later emigrated to the United States and had retired by the mid-1990s. In an exhibition showcasing Wong, the Hong Kong Arts Center called his work a collective memory of Chinese-speaking communities around the world. Original pieces of Wong's work have been exhibited by both Sotheby's and Christie's auction houses. Wong was ambidextrous and could draw with both hands. He particularly enjoyed drawing fish. He used his eldest son's name, Wong Chakas, as a pen name, then relinquished the comic to him in 1995. Wong died of organ failure on January 1st at the age of 93. There were other Asian artists of import that passed away this year as well. On June 10th, we lost Malang, aka Mauro Santos. Mauro Malang Santos, commonly known by the mononym Malang, was a Filipino and award-winning cartoonist, illustrator, and fine arts painter.
Mauro Malang Santos, simply known as Malang.
As a comics artist, he is best known for the series Cosme the Cop, Chain Gang Charlie, and Beelzebub. Malang was the son of Dan Santos and Juliana Malang. He married Mary San Pedro, with whom he has 4 children, including painters Steve Santos and Solar Santos. Malang started learning how to draw from Teodora Buenaventura, a private tutor, when he was 10 years old. He studied at the Antonio Regidor Elementary School in 1934 and attended Arellano High School in 1941. For 1 semester, Malang studied at the College of Fine Arts at the University of the Philippines in 1946. He stopped attending formal school at the age of 19 in order to work for the art department of the Manila Chronicle. While with the newspaper, he apprenticed under cartoonist Liborio Gat Bonton. During 1972, Malang attended art classes at the Otis Art Institute in Los Angeles, California, under a 3-month scholarship at the Manila Chronicle. Malang created Cosme the Cop Retired, the country's first English-language daily comic strip, for the evening edition of the newspaper. In 1955, Malang established the Bug House, a gallery specializing in cartoons. He established that gallery together with cartoonist colleagues such as Liborio Gatbonton, Larry Alcala, Hugo Janssen, and Elmer Abastan. In 1966, Malang launched Art for the Masses, a project that brought printmaking to a large number of artwork enthusiasts at affordable prices. Then on March 26th, we lost Chen Yan. Again, we go to Wikipedia. He was a Taiwanese manhwa artist. Some of his works included The Magical Super Asia, Banzai, and The First King. He also works as an illustrator for Koei's Romance of the Three Kingdoms PS2 game series. He began drawing in the late 1970s and specialized in manga, starting in 1984. Soon after, Chen saw an increase in popularity as media restrictions were relaxed following the Kashuang incident. In 1991, Chen was the first foreigner to win an award at the Japanese Cartoonists Association for his work, Heroes of the East Chao Dynasty. He was born in 1958 and died in March of a heart attack. And that's our look at manga artists who passed away in 2017. One of the things I found disturbing, first I'd like to say that I was never huge into manga art talent. Doesn't mean I didn't like the art that I saw. I've seen several comic books and animated movies based on manga, and I enjoyed them. But I never got into it to the point where I'd follow the creators, like I did when I was a kid with Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Len Wein, Chris Claremont, the big names in comic books. Those were my idols growing up. And even though I got into a little bit of manga and enjoyed what I saw, I never got into the artists. And when I did research for this show, I discovered that a lot of these people who are dying in their 50s literally worked to death. One artist died slumped over his workstation while creating manga. I find this very disturbing. I'm wondering, did they push themselves, or were they pushed into doing that work? We talk about slave labor type conditions. And when I hear about this, I can't help but think, what can be done to prevent this from happening? The anime industry loses good talent when artists die at this young of an age. 20-year-olds can probably keep up the work pace that some of these gentlemen were doing. But when you're in your 50s, you cannot keep up that work pace. I know from personal experience. And I don't really know what can or should be done in this case. I have no idea. Boycotts, protests, but I feel that something must be done to bring about public awareness of these fine and talented artists who are passing away at this age. I intend to do more research into manga artists who passed, and I'm hoping that I do not find a trend here. There were several of these artists who died in their 50s this year, and I don't know if it's because they were overworked or they overworked themselves. But either way, this type of tragedy, I really feel has to stop. And again, I don't know what I could do except bring about a little public awareness, which is what I'm trying to do right now with the rest of this show. If you are a manga fan and any of these artists on this list were your idols, the way Jack Kirby, Kurt Swan, Stan Lee, all the great comic book creators were my idols, if this was happening to them, I would be outraged and furious. Most of the artists that I've talked about died of natural causes, old age, or some kind of cancer, disease, something that was not preventable. But we can prevent artists from being overworked. And if any of these artists were your idols growing up, again, I don't know what to do myself, but I just feel that something has to be done. Public awareness, protests, boycotts. Most of these artists worked for studios outside of the United States. So if you're watching this and you're not from the United States and you're from one of the countries that these artists died in, perhaps you could do something to bring about public awareness of this tragedy that's in the business related to our business, in the world of comic books, animation, film. And I end this show with no striking remarks because I really don't know what to say or do. All I have to say is this is a tragedy and something should be done. If you can think of something, then please let me know in the comments section below, and do something yourself to bring about public awareness that maybe this can stop. Until next time, this is Kevin Given for Comics Let's Talk.